If you subscribed to my channel, you probably expected this one, didn't you? Especially after that rant session in my video about shortcuts in art, none of you are probably surprised. Hey dudes, it's Bree and I'm back with another video. I usually do art commentary and art content in general, so if that's what you like, why not join the coolest people around and subscribe to my channel. Also, I'm trying out Clip Studio Paint today, as well as another art style. I'm bouncing back between a few art styles I like because I don't really know which one I want to choose, but hey, maybe I won't choose because I don't have to. So maybe I can just juggle a few styles. There's nothing wrong with that, and I don't need one set style. Also, fun fact, I'm tracing one of my favorite traditional works I've made this week because I really liked it and I wanted to see it made digitally. But anyway, everyone has something that they find cringe. Whether it be old art you found in the darkest corner of your room, literally any TikTok from 2020, or looking back at your old Funimate account only to find that you used emojis that you'd only ever use ironically and put quote-unquote inspiring Roblox edits on there with crappy effects and transition templates. And you stare at your phone in utter disbelief knowing that you have no idea what the login information is, so you can never delete them off the face of the internet. Not that that's happened to any specific person, of course. Definitely not me. Anyway, the point is, it's completely okay to find things cringe. Heck, we're all cringe. You probably caught yourself doing the most embarrassing things known to mankind. And you know what? It's fine to share a video or art piece you find cringe amongst your friend group, laugh at it, and move on. But you know what's not okay? Harassing people, especially kids over this. Creating cringe compilations to put people on blast without their consent. Recording people you deem cringe and posting them without their permission. Telling people to off themselves because they do something you didn't like. That is not okay. And you might say, oh, well, they posted it, so it's their fault. Well, a lot of these people don't realize they're being cringe to your standards, and they're just having fun, so making them a laughingstock is just gross. And unfortunately, this problem isn't new either, and it hasn't changed much since it started. Cringe culture has affected artists for a while, and it probably won't stop, unfortunately. Like, remember those animation meme cringe compilations? Yeah, I think that was my first exposure to cringe culture in the art community, and you know, those artists most likely didn't want their art reposted without their permission, especially to have it become the butt of a joke. And like, a lot of these users were kids. Make fun of people's art if you want, whatever, but keep it to yourself or between you and your friends. You don't need to make entire compilations of these artists' animations making fun of them, and you don't need to go out and harass people, which yes, for some weird reason people actually do that. And people who've been in those type of animation meme cringe compilations have spoken out as well, and surprise, surprise, they were kids and beginners at the time. They said that they stumbled across themselves being put in those videos and realized they were being absolutely blasted in the comments for something that they worked hard for and were proud of at the time. If that was me, I'd be absolutely crushed, and I am sure these people were, and I wouldn't doubt it if people decided to quit after seeing these type of videos. Seeing people come together and laugh at people's art was probably very discouraging for those who felt targeted and were targeted. Especially since, again, they were young or beginner artists. And sure, maybe the art wasn't the best to you, and maybe you thought they were the cringiest thing you've ever seen. And you know, those opinions are fine, but do you really think that they deserved all of that? And on top of that, the harassment they probably received from people if they got credited, or if their accounts happened to be discovered. And this was years ago, and you'd probably think this sort of behavior would stop, right? Okay, let's be real, nobody actually has hope for the internet anymore, so you probably all said or thought, ha, no! To that you'd be correct. Because instead of growing as a community, we, OCs? Cringe. Personas? Cringe. Furry art? Cringe. Art jokes? Cringe. Your drawing pose? What? Cringe. You even think about picking up the pencil? What are you doing, man? That is the cringiest thing I have ever seen. And people aren't gonna just think, oh yeah, that's cringe, let me send this to my friend and move on. No. You're being too generous with that silly, decent human being mindset. Did you forget this is the internet? They straight up flood your comments, harass you, art lore you, send you your exact coordinates, and then make a petition to blast you into the sun. Okay, that last one was dramatic, but if some of them could, they probably would. But yes, people have been doxxed over this type of stuff, which is yikes. And like, I genuinely don't get it. Does it really bother you that much that they create your own video about it? And yes, people do that, and it's not like cringe compilations anymore, but art lore. I'm pretty sure art lore is like the new version of cringe compilations, except they aren't taking other videos, but are remaking the videos and exaggerating it in a way that becomes as mocking as they can be. Now, I've already spoken about art lore on my channel. It was actually my first commentary video on here, but holy crap. If you're on TikTok, make sure to be as bland as a cardboard box because the art lore might get ya. And yes, you might notice during this video that some of my points from that video might be repeated here because 1, a lot of those points there apply to cringe culture in general, and 2, that video was made in November and my brain refreshes every... what was I saying? But the amount of artists that are in fear of becoming a laughingstock to thousands is insane, and it's so harmful for artists' mental healths. Like, imagine every time you post, you are double thinking, triple thinking, quadruple thinking. Will I get art lord? Because that is a genuine fear people have now. Because once it happens, it just goes downhill from there. Even I have deleted drafts because I thought, you know what? This might be too risky. Let me just delete this video because it's kind of cringe and I don't feel like being a victim to art lore right now. And the worst part is, the video probably wasn't even that cringe. But now I feel like I have to double think everything. And if an art style will get art lord, anything probably will. And sure, just turn off the phone, delete the account, leave the internet. But why the hell has it gotten so bad that we have to stop ourselves from the joys of posting and interacting with the art community because we're apparently too soft? Sorry, I forgot only soft people feel upset after being told to off themselves, being threatened with horrible things against them and their family, and so many other disgusting things that people have said and done. And sure, it's just normal internet shenanigans. But why the hell is that considered normal now? Those words can and will hurt people, even if it's just the internet. Even if someone is used to it, those type of things are horrible, and it's sad that the mindset now is just, get over it. And do you just honestly think a kid is gonna turn off their phone after seeing one of the most jaw-dropping comments they've ever read? No. They're gonna dwell, and dwell, and dwell. And that damage has already been done even if they quit or delete the account. The comments were read. They probably scrolled through all their comments. They probably saw all the parodies if they were made. This behavior, especially towards kids, is not excusable. And I don't care if it's just the internet. Okay? It's still wrong and it's not a problem to speak out about it. That's just a lame excuse to excuse bullying. It's disgusting to see miserable people taking out their sad lives on what are mostly kids. And a lot of these losers are grown adults. Like, hello? That's freaking weird at your grown age and you find that okay? At this point, if you're cringe, you're doing it right. Because you're probably way more happier than these morons. And I feel like this is a major factor in why kids nowadays feel forced to grow up. We're constantly shouting, why do kids want skincare? Why do they want to feel like they have to grow up? They're dressing like teenagers. They're acting like teenagers. But really, it's because we make them feel like they have to. When a kid is being a kid, they're cringe. I've seen people tell 11-year-olds that they're too old to watch cartoons. Which, you would be having a hissy fit to find out that I have an entire TMNT collection, and I literally never shut up about it at my age. I should be driving or something. And you might say, well, they're too young to be online, which, yeah, I agree. Younger kids shouldn't be online as it's dangerous no matter how mature they think that they are or here they are. But that does not make these actions okay because they're kids. Like, isn't that common sense, or... But the worst part is, the absolute brain rot of cringe culture has stained into the real world because you'd be surprised at how much it's affected kids outside the internet. I got barked at and got called cringe when I was like 14 for dressing up as a My Hero Academia character on Halloween with my friends. Actually, funny story, they were kids who weren't allowed off their lawn, so as we walked by, they all tried their best Michael Jackson impression and leaned as close as they could to bark at us. And it's not even the kids' fault for being online. They're kids, they don't realize how dangerous it is. No joke, I've seen kids say that they're mature enough to be online, then say some of the most eyebrow-raising comments I have ever seen. And I'm like thinking, I don't know, dude, I don't think you're ready. Which in these type of situations, the best you can do is politely educate them on internet safety to the best of your ability, because you're not really their parent and you can't choose whether or not they're on the internet. And for the kids watching, yes, stranger danger and all the internet advice should be taken into consideration. You probably feel it's ridiculous, and I get that. But as someone who was on the internet as a quote-unquote mature kid, trust me, you're still at risk. It can be annoying hearing the same thing over and over and over. It's frustrating, trust me. It annoyed me so much as well. Like, no, mother, sharing my favorite color online does not mean 44-year-old Jonathan is gonna show up my door. But, as kids on the internet, we are able to put ourselves into dangerous situations without realizing it. So being mindful and being on alert with everything you hear from people talking to you online is very important. These people just care about your safety and they aren't trying to be annoying. They just want you to be safe. You might not realize it now, but you're gonna thank people in the future, trust me. And I know you hear that all the time, but it's true. But anyway, with the way things are changing, social media has consumed the lives of thousands. And kids do what the people they look up to do. And what are all the older people around them doing? Scrolling on social media. Social media is such a common and popular thing, so of course kids are going to want to be a part of this. They don't want to miss out. I remember absolutely begging my mom to download Musical.ly because of all the cool older kids having it, and all my friends had it, and I was devastated that I couldn't get it. But honestly, I thank her for that because I probably would have posted some embarrassing stuff. And the people to really blame of why so many kids are being exposed to horrible things on the internet is the parents themselves. A lot of parents don't care and let their kids on the internet, and a lot of times without supervision at all. And in some cases, they're literally the ones exposing their own children to the internet by making family channels, or posting their kids on TikTok for the 5 seconds of fame they'll receive. And another stupid thing about cringe culture is that you could be the coolest person ever, but be in one fandom that's known for being cringy or have cringe fan art or cringy art in general, and you're instantly this major cringe weirdo. And funny enough, these people are being themselves, while it seems that people hating are just being a copy and paste version of the same person. Like, the comments are never original. It's rare to see one original comment.
Rendering process. New art lore just dropped. Is this the original? Oh,
that's not. And so many more with generic responses that have as much personality as a cardboard box. Like, guys, I beg of you, please get original. Creativity is free. You aren't funny, to be honest, at least in my opinion anyway. And if you're an artist that's in a fandom that's popular, the amount of hate you'll get from people just wanting to be different is insane. Like, yes, there are definitely people who genuinely dislike those things, but in a lot of cases, it's just the I just want to be different mentality. A couple weeks ago, I did a Trolls live stream where I drew Trolls fan art because I just like the designs. And since the Trolls franchise has been a trending topic on TikTok, I got quite a bit of hate under my live streams, not for my art or anything else, just the fact that I drew Trolls. Like, these people would rather be thrown off a cliff than like something that's popular. So naturally, they feel the need to bash others who like those things. And if you genuinely dislike those things, that's completely fine. I've disliked popular media too. But just don't be a jerk about it to those who do. But what about if you're in an unpopular fandom? Boo, that died X amount of years or months ago. That there's no winning here. You're cringe if you like new things, you're cringe if you like old things. And I don't really see why liking X-popular fandoms are bad. I'm gonna be honest, when I read those comments, I instantly assume that you're a trend hopper. Because why does it matter if it's trendy at the moment? If I'm gonna like it, I'm gonna like it. And that's not a problem. You're cringe if you do this, you're cringe if you do that, so why even bother caring anymore? If it's not hurting anybody, why is it a problem? And if someone liking something or drawing something annoys you that much, that's more of a you problem, so you don't need to get others involved. Trust me, dude, it is not that deep, and it is never that deep. And most of these quote-unquote cringe artists and creators literally did nothing wrong. They weren't hurting anybody, they didn't do anything that could have been considered problematic, they just existed. They apparently did the horrendous act of being cringe to you. And apparently they deserve the punishment of being laughed at and harassed. Gasp! How dare you draw a self-ship that's not hurting anybody? Guys, let's throw them into the bottomless pit for the heinous crime. That's how you guys sound, and it's honestly ridiculous. So many artists limit themselves in fear of being cringe. The limitless possibilities slowly obtain a limit just in order to please others. So many creators quit after being the laughingstock of social media, like previously mentioned users on this channel, Croakit, Pastel Spider, and many other innocent creators. People often forget these are real people with real feelings behind the screen, and some do know, but they could care less because they're kind of selfish. They have the mindset of, well, it doesn't affect me, so womp womp, I guess? And it's sad that this is how it's become. Did you guys forget the classic saying we all heard at least once? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Literally, what do you gain from bringing others down? And it's so weird to me that they're so fast to make fun of someone, yet behind the screens they are also cringe, whether they like to admit it or not. But like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, these people will always be roaming the internet. And they'll always be spitting out hate for the 3 likes that they'll receive on their TikTok comment. So I say, ignore the hate comments because they don't know you and they are irrelevant. And especially if you know they're wrong about you, their comments do not matter at all. As much as it might hurt, don't let it affect you. If they're mad at your fun that isn't hurting anyone, that's their problem. Cringe culture in itself is by far the cringiest thing I've ever seen. Also, here's some classic reminders, guys. Just because you find something cringe doesn't mean everyone else will, even if the majority agrees. They aren't lying, they just have a different opinion. Crazy concept, right? Like, it genuinely surprises me of how many people do not understand that. No random user, I am being for real when I say I like an art piece that you in the TikTok hive mind do not like. And one last thing that I've said a few times, but I'm going to say it again for the new people here. Constructive criticism is not the same as hate. I have seen so many people try to hide their obvious hate under the excuse of, it's just constructive criticism, guys, chill out. I'm sorry, but if you say this is bad or, oh, that's not constructive criticism. That's just hate. How do those comments help teach the artist how to improve in a respectful manner? They don't. Constructive criticism should help with improvement, which comments like those just drive people away from art. Overall, be cringe and have fun. If you aren't hurting anyone, why should it matter? Stop being rude to people who are just having harmless fun. Don't act like you're less cringe than us just because all the cringy things you've done aren't online or if you're too scared to be yourself. And don't be afraid to be yourself even if you get called cringe, because you only live once and life is shorter than you think. So spending time having fun and being yourself is a lot better than living your life shaving your own personality off to fit into the generic cookie cutter standard. Overall, if you're not hurting anybody, just do what you want because it's your life and these are just my opinions. Comment down yours as well as future video ideas. Also, I've been thinking about not only discussing art on here, but maybe fandom topics. It's not set in stone, but should I make a second channel? What do you guys think? I know quite a few of my fellow TMNT fans have been begging to hear me talk about it, and as well as other fandoms and stuff. And I'm sure other fandoms would love to hear me rant, since apparently over 20,000 of you guys like hearing me rant. I did not expect that many people to actually enjoy listening to my dumb ranting, so thank you so much for actually sticking around. It makes me so happy to hear people actually care about what I have to say. But yeah, I guess that's all for this video, and with that, make sure to love your art, love yourself, and love others. And I wish you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye! Gosh, I've said cringe so many times, I think I gotta go wash my mouth out now.